This is Reilly-Boccia, here to talk about why directional extension is so important and ways we can reinforce it by using the extension hold. So the very next step to contact hold is the extension phase of our swing. However, nothing we can do after we've already hit the ball can influence the trajectory of the ball. We can't hit the ball 4 and 5 times after we initially hit it. We only get one chance at contact, which is why contact is so important as well. But the real question is, then why is extension so important? And more importantly, why is directional extension so important? Extension in our swing is our safety net for timing. There's a famous quote that says, hitting is all about timing, and pitching is trying to disrupt that timing. So in our sport, we constantly have a pitcher who's trying to change up the speed of the ball. It is not common that we are always 100% of the time perfectly on time with our swing. Sometimes we're a little bit early, sometimes we're a little bit late. By getting on the same plane of the ball as soon as possible before contact, and then staying on that same plane of the ball as long as possible with great extension, is going to help be our safety net for when timing isn't perfect. So this is what I mean by that. If this pitched ball is coming from the pitcher and it's coming in here like this, when we approach the contact, we want to get on the same plane as soon as possible. Right here, I'm on that same plane of the ball. Then once we make contact with that pitch, we want to try to stay on the same plane of the ball as long as we possibly can before we roll over. If you can see right here, I'm still palm up, palm down. I haven't rolled my wrist over. So with that being said, in order to stay on the same plane of that ball as long as possible, we as hitters are going to have to remain palm up, palm down as long as we can. We want rollover to be the last thing that happens in the follow-through of our swing. A lot of times coaches will say, make sure you have a high finish. What that means, having a high finish means that we're extending as long as we can through the ball and we're rolling over at the last possible moment. If someone has a low finish down here below their shoulder, that usually means that they are prematurely rolling over to the ball. And maybe if they are palm up, palm down at contact, they aren't there very long. So if they're a little bit early, they're probably rolling a ball right over to their pull side, third or first base, depending if they are left-handed or right-handed. So we want to make sure if we have a high finish, that means that we have proper extension. If we have proper extension, it means that we're on the same plane of the ball as long as possible. And if we are on the same plane of the ball as long as possible, that means our consistency as a hitter is going to increase. This is what I really mean by being a safety net for timing. If I'm on the same plane of the ball and I'm a little bit late, let's say I think I'm going to make contact here, I'm a little bit late and I actually make contact back here, I at least can foul that ball off. Or if I'm a little bit late, I can still hit it and pretty hard. My barrel is still in that zone. Even if I think contact's going to happen here, this is my safety net for being slightly late. Now, let's say instead of us being late, we're early. So let's say we think contact will be made here, that's what we're anticipating. But because we have great extension, we stay on the same plane of the ball slightly longer. Right here, I'm still palm up, palm down, I still have a power L, and my barrel is still in the plane. I could probably still get a good hit. Even here, I can still find a way to hit. And then finally, even if it won't be optimal, because I no longer have my power L, I'm still in a position to muscle a pitch for a base hit. If we anticipated timing to happen here, and we had no extension, and we began rolling over too soon, I'm no longer on the same plane of the ball. And if I'm early, now I'm no longer palm up, palm down, I'm not strong right here. In this pitch that I'm early on, I'm either going to miss, or I'm going to send it straight into the ground and hit a weak ground ball to my pull side. So extension is extremely important. Another thing that goes with extension is the directional extension. So what do I mean by that? We want to make sure when we extend for an outside pitch, we are extending in the direction where we want that pitched ball to be hit. When I finish my extension, if someone were to take a picture, if I had proper contact, which we just talked about in the contact hold video, then by the end of my extension, when I am finishing, about to roll over, and I'm no longer palm up, palm down, I should be pointing to my opposite field gap. We want to visualize hitting 4 and 5 balls after we actually hit the initial ball. If we're able to visualize this as a hitter, we're going to be able to increase how much extension we get throughout the game. So here would be an example of an extension hold. Just like in the contact hold, we were going as hard as we could and freezing at contact. We are going as hard as we can through to extension with still freezing at palm up, palm down. We're going to try to freeze at the last possible moment before our rollover begins, and we are no longer palm up, palm down, right before we begin our follow-through of our swing. So here's how the drill should look for an outside pitch. If you missed how I talked about where to set up for the outside pitch, you can see my video on how to enforce proper mechanics by using the contact hold. I'm going to set up, check into my pitcher, visualize an outside pitch, and I'm freezing right at extension. I haven't rolled over yet, I'm still palm up, palm down, and my bat head is pointing right in the direction of where I want it to hit the ball. Just like we can perform a contact hold for an inside and outside pitch, we can perform the extension hold for an inside and outside pitch as well. Like you just saw with the extension hold for an outside pitch, I was pointing towards my opposite field gap. For the inside pitch, I'm going to now point to my pull side gap. So I'm going to get set. If you notice, I moved the tee to make sure that it's in the proper position for me to hit the inside pitch. I'm going to check in, visualize the pitcher. As you can see there, my bat head was no longer pointing in the direction for the outside pitch. Now my bat head was pointing in the direction of my pull side gap, and I'm still palm up, palm down. If, as a hitter, we are extending in the direction of our pull side gap for an outside pitch, we are probably going to miss that ball. This is something that's very difficult to see, but very important. So see if you can have your coach watch your swing and just ask them if they think you are getting proper directional extension. This is what I mean by having improper directional extension. Hopefully you can see right away that if my backside knee turned too much for the outside pitch, my front hip would open, and now my hands will pull where my lower body is taking me. Now I'm shortening my bat and I'm missing that ball. Directional extension is very important, but something that's very difficult to feel when we complete a full swing. Being able to do the extension hold is a great way to check your swing and to check to make sure that we are extending in the correct direction for the outside and the inside pitch. This has been Reilly-Boccia talking about directional extension, why it's so important, and how to practice it with the extension hold.